The aim of Nell Town 2 is to recreate my father's commute from Putney to Waterloo through the 1960s to 1980s. But due to limited space, there will be a little bit of artistic license, and I'll only be doing parts of the line between Putney and Wandsworth Town. I will, however, add a small amount of playability by incorporating a TMD, which is loosely based on another area of London. Where possible, I will utilise kits that I've already purchased or built, and also some of the scratch built projects that I have made in the past. I will also, however, due to some of the architectural features in Putney and Wandsworth Town, I'll have to do a lot of scratch building in order to generate the buildings that I wish to accommodate on the layout. So hopefully you will join me on this build journey, which will take a fair number of years, I would anticipate. So what does video number 6 at Nell Town 2 have in store for you? The initial painting of Wandsworth Town tracks. Designing a platform jig using Lightburn. Using the laser cutter for the first time in the railway room in its new enclosure. And making my own track cleaner for use after painting. For my concrete sleepers, I have opted to go for Tamiya XF55 Deck Tan, and for wooden sleepers, I've opted to go for a combination of a number of colours mixed, these being XF92, XF90, XF79 and XF1, which when mixed have given me a flat earth sort of colour that when I applied it to the wooden sleepers, it also appeared to be a very, very good match to the dirt on the rails. So I'm using that for the rail base colours as well. Unfortunately, I totally forgot to record the airbrushing of the concrete track and the wooden track, but this little excerpt of video just shows the finished article prior to painting the rail sides. I've decided to concentrate on the Wandsworth Town station area initially, which will allow me to paint the track and also design the platforms and ballast that area. And that is the method I intend to follow as I move round. So as you can see in this video, I decided or thought it was best to mask the sleepers that I painted and left to cure for 72 hours and started airbrushing. Airbrushing went really well, but unfortunately on removal of the masking tape, some of the paint came up. So I decided to do without the masking tape, and I didn't mind about a little bit of overspray because I decided that the flat earth colour was an ideal colour. Having looked at numerous images of concrete track, it was an ideal colour to weather down the concrete, so the overspray didn't matter. And after I'd done the rails, I did a little bit of overspraying for the whole track to darken things down. And here is the finished article. All that has to be done now is adding ballast and then weathering once again. You'll remember from the last video that I was bought a Christmas present, that being a enclosure for my laser cutter, and that combined with the need to start looking at the platform design for Wandsworth Town, I decided that I would need to create a platform jig. I do have Pico plastic ones, but I wanted ones that were specifically for me and produce a number that I could use and stand up on my track so I could plan the outer edge of the platform and also the initial retaining wall. So I went on to trusty Lightburn, having measured my track using caliper things. I've forgotten the name of them, but they're a digital caliper, and measured the dimensions of the track, height of the carriage doors above the track, etc., and came up with a plan for a jig, which I generated, as you'll see from the image from Lightburn. I then moved it on to the laser cutter, and after some time, 23 minutes of cutting, I generated 16 of my own little templates. I have generated enough of these jigs in order to place as many as I can along the track where the platforms will be, in order to provide a decent datum point or reference point for the platforms. As I cleaned the track after painting, I thought there must be a better way than using a normal track rubber, so went down the route of using IPA on a cloth and carefully wiping the top of each rail. This obviously left a small film, but using a piece of cork, I found that the combination of the IPA and then the cork being drawn across the top of the rails produced really clean rails. Having to hold the piece of cork in a finger did mean that it caught the sleepers, so I decided that the best way would be to have a solid piece, and therefore have just purely stuck a bit of 3mm cork onto a little bit of wood, and that is wide enough to do double-sized tracks, so I can wipe down, if need be, 4 rails which are short in length that have been painted, wipe those down with IPA, and then wipe the cleaner along, and then move on to the next bit, doing short sections at a time. So please, if you think this is worthwhile, and I don't think it sort of scours the track as such, if you think it's worthwhile, please, use the idea. Well, that's it for this video. The next video, hopefully, as I progress, will be the start of the development of Wandsworth Town platforms. But thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I will endeavour to get things moving on the railway.